I have a topic. I have a topic to talk about. I have a topic to talk about. I have a topic to talk about. Okay. From the perspective of a spiritual, whatever, person, what is my view on sex, sexuality, and the what is my view on, hey, what's my view on femininity and aesthetic beauty? That's a pretty good subject. That's a pretty good thing to talk about, I think. My view is, I mean, of course, pretty much any view that I have is going to be deep. So I'm going to take it, try to keep it superficial so that it's not too long of a video. I don't want to explain too much, you know what I mean? But my view is, I think we should not be hindered by the pursuit of this higher understanding. We shouldn't be hindered sexually or socially in general by this pursuit, but the pursuit shouldn't be, this pursuit of spiritual enlightenment or a higher understanding of oneself should not be hindered by sexuality or the pursuit of fuck sex, because that's that's silly. Although it's not really, I mean, it doesn't seem silly when you have the opportunity. Now does it? No, it doesn't. You get cognitive dissonance and you say, well, dude, I could use tantra. I could do tantra, and that would be kind of spiritual. That would be kind of spiritual. But then you don't really last that long, so it's not really working. It doesn't really work, does it?
No.
But I think that the whole idea of aestheticism or being a basically a hermit or not ever doing any of that kind of stuff is silly. I think we should be. I think we were put here. We are here to live. We only have one chance. That kind of that old rhetoric. I don't think that is egotistical in its nature. I think that it's actually profoundly important that we do have as much experience, and the depth of that experience is what really determines our character. And I think that is somewhat important to our understanding of ourselves in the first place. If you don't have a character, how are you gonna discover your character if you don't have one? So another aspect, though, making love versus having sex. Making love is trying to have a baby. Because then when you're making a child, you're making love, you see? Love to the universe is life. So anything else is sex. And if it's for the pursuit of avoidance of a psychological goal, it's perverted. If it is just for the hell of it, then it's masturbation, and that's all it is. All too often we get the rationalization during a relationship that you're making love. No, you're not. Even if you're married, you're not making love if you're not trying to have a child. Now, some people, if that were their philosophy, might take that to if they wanted to have a real relationship where the sex was only making love. Imagine that. Imagine how difficult that would be, and especially if you were a spiritual person and you never masturbated during that relationship, how crazy that would be. Think about how intense the experience of making love would be over an like years apart without masturbation, and then you finally decide this is the night. She looks particularly fine tonight, or he looks particularly fine tonight. We must make love. And that would be what's what. I mean, that would be, I think, a legitimate perspective. Although, what this means is homosexuals cannot make love. It's the nature of that thing. Unless there was some kind of operation you could get. I doubt it. But I think you can't be. It's it's just the way it's not just the way I think, though. I mean, that is a pretty good description of making love. There's nothing wrong with masturbation. There's nothing wrong with gay sex necessarily, but shizzle. I broke it. But that's people can have cognitive dissonance about that. I think some of my views are in the face of a lot of the liberal, like the kind of hippie, spiritual, politically correct, maybe, although that's kind of a lame word to use, I think, because that's, even Cornel West says that shit, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of political correct, or no, he defends political correctness. I don't, yeah, I think some of my views, some of my philosophies actually go in the face. I'm actually kind of, in some of my views, I'm more conservative than fucking Islam fundamentalists. But I'm not on. I think all women should be given the choice as to whether or not they want to be hidden from the world and shit. Although I think that is a fairly good idea, because then it makes the woman more beautiful in a way. But it should be a fucking choice. You can't make that a law. That's fucking absurd and stupid. But I think that should be a decision on the part of the woman. And I think a lot of them, I think matriarchal philosophy and culture is far in a way the more advanced perspective on culture. Patriarchal society happened because of a regression or a progression of devolution, basically a negative progression of history. Matriarchal society is better than patriarchal. And that's another thing about femininity. I mean, for Christ's sake, women are, in a lot of ways, they're a lot more practical. Women are, in a lot of ways, a lot better than men. But I don't see a lot of women nowadays, and I think maybe it's because the same idea of why blacks are unintelligent. It's because they're not educated well. Women in our culture are given Disney movies and stupid shit like that, and they're given all kinds of their models of the world are a lot more strict in their own minds, simply because of the way they've been brought up. I think women have the potential to be a lot more, I guess the word would be powerful, or significant, enlightened than males. But I think because of the culture, it's less possible, and because of so many cultures, it's just it's not even considered. But besides, women are a whole hell of a lot more attractive in general than men are. Goddamn, I'm glad I'm a dude. I'm so glad I'm a dude. They have the hardest shit to deal with in sex, as far as giving BJs and whatnot. I mean, that's gotta be weird, at least from a guy's perspective. Oh man, but yeah, I don't know what I would do if I were a chick, or if I didn't like chicks. If I didn't like women, the beauties. or if I had, you know, I don't know, I enjoy women. So I think everybody that is a heterosexual male, I think we should cultivate beauty in our society. I think we should cultivate beauty and sophistication. Alright, well, this is probably just, you know, going to be a random video, but, you know, whatever. Peace out, nigga. Peace out, nigga.